Hi, everybody. Welcome to the new normal. I'm your host, Lisa Davis, aka Litecoin Lisa, and today is Friday. It is the temporal marker Friday. It's Uncle Cliff's Friday. It's also Golden Friday because you guys know Big Daddy Trump. Well, maybe you don't know this, but you would if you're on my Telegram, which you can find a link in the description below. It's free. Join it. Join the chat. There's a bunch of great people in there. Big Daddy Trump showed up in Austin today for his Joe Rogan interview with a yellow tie, a golden tie. And last night he said that we are going into America's golden age. And he's been talking about the liquid gold under our feet, which I have all kinds of thoughts about that. But I'll talk to Westwood about it and I will hear your thoughts in the chat. So join us in the live chat, give us a like, share the video. We'll be right back with Westwood right after this. Oh, and grab something red because we remember everyone deployed every Friday. Happy Friday, y'all. Happy Friday, Westwood. What you drinking? What you smoking? Good Lord.
Leftover cigar from last night.
Huff the Magic Dragon.
Oh, yeah. What's wrong with me? Tractor's out there making all kinds of noise, so I apologize. He's getting further away, though.
No, you're good. You're good.
I'm drinking out of the... It's 5 o'clock here all the time.
5 o'clock somewhere.
It's a gin and tonic or a gin and tonic, or I don't even know.
One of those things. Nana's drink of choice. Speaking of dragons,
chasing the dragon,
and the magic golden happy hour, temporal marker day.
Oh, yeah.
Happy temporal marker day to everyone. I noticed a couple golden things today. I don't know if I can share this.
I don't even know what the frick I'm doing. All right.
I don't know if I tweeted it out or if I just sent it to friends. I know I sent it to you. Did everyone see it?
What is it?
Trump in the gold tie.
Yeah. I saw that.
Show everybody.
The golden age.
That I can. There, you guys can see. There you go. And then I thought that was interesting. That was him speaking in front of, it said stop migrant crime behind him on the wall. And then he had a bunch of ICE and Border Patrol agents there with him. And he talked about the little 12-year-old girl who was brutally murdered. And he had his her mother there with him and talked about how because of Kamala's failed policies that, so many people have been harmed, murdered by these immigrants, illegal immigrants, not the legal.
Illegal.
Yeah.
Illegal.
Yes. And that's what I think. I think that's the alien invasion, but we'll see.
That could be. I mean, the language, maybe Cliff's got it off and it's not coming from space. It's coming from over there. Who knows? Maybe it's both.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Oh, that was another thing. I was listening to, I think it's Uncle Cliff's message from it's either from the 23rd or the 24th. And he's talking about this big cat, but he means like a tractor kind of cat or whatever.
Like Caterpillar?
Yeah. And, but then he goes into talking about Elon going to Mars and how that's not really sustainable, blah, blah, blah. But, I had found that Mars where it's like,
the acronym is different
of, civilians, whatever. And it's like MAA, M-A-R-R-S or M-A-R-R-S. I can't
Yeah,
remember.
either two A's or two R's. It's a little bit different. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember the exact spelling.
Yeah.
And then Dan Scavino posts today. And you guys, today's the temporal marker day and all that. Let me show you what Dan Scavino posts. Where is it?
Probably on his Twitter feed.
Yeah.
He posts a lot, though.
He does post a lot. Lord,
He's got the inside pictures, man.
He's got me beat. That's something to say. Right, Westwood? You can say it. Look at this.
What?
It looks like you're...
Oh, yeah. Is that the dome in Las Vegas, or where's this at?
It is. It's that dome thing. And watch when it turns and it's got like that red dot or red spot. And I was like, oh, are we going to Mars or is that Jupiter? I don't know. But see the red spot?
Going to Mars to get more candy bars.
Yeah, but is he messaging?
Probably.
He's always messaging.
I know. All of his stuff is. It's like veiled innuendos and
I had said something about, earlier this week, Uncle Cliff tweeted out that, today's the big interview with Trump and Joe Rogan. And he was like, oh, the deep state's freaking out. What are they going to do to stop that? All this. And would they take down the internet or whatever? And I guess Rogan doesn't do live interviews. He records them and then posts them later. So
yeah,
we're anticipating somewhere after 6 or 7 Central. We may see a post.
Oh yeah, you'll start seeing the clips coming out on X.
Well, it's supposed to come out. So he gets paid. You were discussing this last night on Spaces, or maybe it was on Hash It Out first, and then
on Spaces. I could have been both. Who knows? I can't remember.
And then, so he has a contract with Spotify. So I would think he's obligated to post their
they're the original producers of the content, I guess. I mean, yeah, he signed a big contract with. I couldn't believe it. I don't know how many millions it was when I saw it. I'm just like, holy crap. So yeah, that's his platform, but it'll be on the YouTube channel after the fact. I mean, because he had an interview on the 23rd, I think, with somebody, and then it's out there now on YouTube on his Joe Rogan channel. So I would imagine this weekend you'll see it on YouTube and other places.
Well, then I wondered, even if they try to take that down, or which I think even if that happens, I think that's a white hat op to make a reason for dark MAGA to swoop in, and then we get an EBS on our phone, and they use Twitter as the hey, click here, because Elon always wanted X to be the everything app.
Absolutely.
Couldn't that be click here and you have access to Starlink?
Never know.
You never know. I don't know.
Well, he's got to ask Putin first, because this is the best thing they could roll out as far as disinformation today. The Wall Street Journal? No, the Washington Post.
WAPO, yeah.
Yeah, the Washington Post, which, by the way, for the first time in how many decades has not endorsed a candidate for president. Right. They always endorse the Democrats. I mean, and so
he started turning against Kamala, the comrade.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't endorse anybody, which is that's a pretty big statement that they didn't endorse her, because they always endorse the Democrat. So something's a brewing. I mean, you got George Santos out there, and he's a little wacky, former guy congressman from New York, saying there's big information on Kamala, some video of some sort he mentioned today on his Twitter, that's supposed to be released anytime, and they're trying to vet it through their legal team, whoever's doing it, to make sure they can release it. So it's probably not good.
There's a lot of rumors flying around
about that. A lot of things going on.
Some people are saying it's, it was her cocaine in the White House. I don't know if people would care, to be honest, about that.
Honestly, you're right. I mean,
other people are saying that her sister, there's other rumors that her sister, or there's proof or evidence that her sister's involved in
doing the freak offs,
little people issues. Moving little people around. There's a lot of rumors going around right now.
Speaking of that, I mean, I got to back up. I mean, I'm just jumping here. I was talking about George Santos. Before that, it was the Washington Post. Yeah, not endorsing a candidate. And then they're the ones that were talking about Elon Musk meeting with Putin since 2021 or 22. And I'm thinking, what do you mean? Where's the evidence? And of course, all the mainstream media that's reporting it and said, well, NBC hasn't verified this, but they run with the story, and it's just like they want to get that information out there. It's just, I mean, they just want to put it out there. But here's the thing: who cares? Who cares if he's talking to Putin? I mean,
so they
who
said,
cares?
so
I don't.
the reason that they say this is an issue, because I was listening to some
All right,
alternative.
let's
I
hear
say
it.
alternative. I was listening to some mainstream media because I like to
Okay,
see what are they telling the
see the
normies.
dark
Why
side
are
and what
they?
their plans are.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
want to hear both sides.
Okay.
And so they were saying, oh, they were clutching their pearls. And while they were doing that, they said, well, the thing is that because Elon runs SpaceX, which he doesn't run. Yes, he runs SpaceX,
SpaceX,
not Space
yeah.
Force. Sorry.
Right.
He has a high level of clearance of security clearance, and because of that, he shouldn't be, he should be reporting if he is talking to someone in another country or whatever, a foreign adversary.
I gotcha.
And if he's not reporting that, then that's an issue.
Okay.
Well, so the way I have some military friends that explained to me, because this one guy like worked on this really crazy important boat, and he's like, yeah, I had this certain level of clearance. But what that means is when you have that high of clearance, you are so siloed. You have the higher level of clearance you have, the less you know about anything else.
I got you. They got you compartmentalized so that you can focus only on this and not make connections to all the other high level stuff.
Yes. So it's like, it doesn't mean you know about everything. You probably know less about anything else.
Right. No, I got you.
The higher level of clearance you have. And so, and maybe, I'm sure when you're briefed or you're given whatever clearance, you're also told what the rules of the game are.
Right.
So I'm sure
he's got a lot to lose by effing up. So I find it hard to believe that this would be a guy, that runs SpaceX, Tesla, X platform. I mean, a boring company and the holes, drills. I mean, he's got a lot to lose, a lot of government contracts to lose. I mean, so if you do something out of kilter, I mean, I guarantee if he did anything wrong, these people would come after him.
Yeah.
I mean, they would.
And
so the story itself just smells like just clickbait and fishy, and it's just a headline out there. They think that it's such a bad thing that, we're just going to associate someone with Putin. We'll bring him down. We had 4 years of this Russia nonsense. Russia, the documents and all the made up stuff. And that's their go-to. I mean, it's always, they're collaborating with Russia. I mean, the Cold War is over, okay? I mean, it's not, it just doesn't carry the weight. That shows how archaic their thinking is. It doesn't carry the weight like it did in the 80s.
Yeah. Well, and all of humanity, like, I think I know I am heartbroken and tired of seeing harmed babies everywhere.
I know.
And I think all of humanity is just, I'm tired of the hate. I'm tired of, are we seriously fighting over minerals in the ground and killing babies over dirt?
Right.
I just can't. That's not the kind of world I'm interested in living in.
I hear you.
I think all of this has to stop, and we all have to come together and figure out, like, let's come together and find solutions to have more together. I think that's part of what cryptocurrency was bringing to the table. Is let's build things together. And come up with solutions and quit destroying one another. I'm
defending a vampire paradigm.
Yeah, of destroying each other for one person to have more.
I agree.
I'm done with all that.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Come together.
Shout out to Howie One. I'm so glad to see you in the chat.
Howie One in the house. All right.
Told Westwood, not this last meetup, but the meetup before, I did not get a chance to talk to you and your beautiful wife at the bar. And then I assumed that you were coming back to the barn bar, and I didn't see you guys. And
I know, we missed it.
To meet your beautiful wife, and I was so sad. And so please give her all my big hugs and love. And I hope to see you guys at the next meet up.
The next time.
The next time.
At Winter Westwood, right?
No, in the spring we will be
Lisa says, no.
Fort Smith.
Lisa would be heartbroken though. See, if I had like a winter event, you'd be like, oh, it's too cold. I don't want to go, and I got all this going on. Why does he do this to me? Now I want to go, and it's the middle of winter. You jerk.
I'm packing, so I just get, and my daughter is going snowboarding, so I just loaned her my snowboard, my all of my ski clothes, all my like thermals, my wool socks, like all my snow gear went to my daughter because she's going to go snowboarding, and I'm packing because we're trying to sell our house and move to Arkansas. And so like, I don't know that I would be able to stand Westwoods in the winter.
I'll tell you what, though, it's been unseasonably warm all the way through October. I mean, it's so I don't know. We'll probably, everybody says, "Oh, such a nice fall. Look out for winter." All the
is that a thing?
Say. I don't know. People say that stuff, and I'm thinking, no, let's just carry it through. I'm going to try and look at it positively. Let's just have a nice mild winter where I can go out in my flip flops and shorts, and we get down to 20 degrees at the lowest, and we're good.
We can just call. Is it NORAD or we can just call them and ask them to point the radar.
Oh yeah, point the beams, cross the streams.
Yeah, they can just use the radar to point the warm streams to southern Illinois.
Move the Gulf Stream.
Yeah,
shift it, so it's a little bit higher.
Use the radar to point the and then that'll.
Well, it works for hurricanes, I guess. I don't know.
Years.
So now we'll see.
Next rad. That's it.
Next rad, the radar stations. Yeah, the next level radar stations.
Yeah, they'll do it for us. I'm sure. Yeah. That'd be nice.
Pay my taxes. Come on, do something for me. Serve me.
I think it'd be a nice thing to do. Nice gesture.
Yeah, it would. But no, probably won't be a winter Westwood. If anything, it might be somebody like Paulie P showing up, because he's got cabin fever or something. Who knows?
That's the desire to be in a cabin?
That too, maybe. Yeah, I guess you could look at it that way.
That might be it.
Good point. Yeah. Definitely. Need some heat in that cabin. Whew.
I think there is some now.
Yeah. I was thinking another cabin. I was thinking a Paulie cabin.
Oh, really? Yeah. Hey, we found a great resource for containers. I say we. Oh. The royal we. I had nothing to do with it.
Mm-hmm. I got you.
My amazing husband. So I need to have him. You need to reach out to him about that. Okay. He's been doing a bunch of research, and those actually you can get different
they got different classifications. They got like WWT, which is wind water tight, and then they've got some that are like one trip to where it's like delivered one time, and it's only been hauled once overseas, and it shows up here, and then you can get that. Those are the most expensive.
And some are like
you get the high ones that are a foot taller.
Yes.
You get double doors.
Yep. And so he found a really great place to get them, and you can turn them into houses.
Mm-hmm. There's a place where I got my container. It's in Wisconsin, and I think it's Troxbox, I think it is now. It used to be TSM, and they at one point they had pictures on their website to where they'd show you they'd have like a 20-footer, and they'd make a little cabin out of it and put nice big sliding glass, and it was like pretty cool how they do this stuff. I mean, and you can just bring it and set it where you want it. It's done. You can hook up the utilities, of course, but
right.
They have all that ready to go, though. They got the electrical in and everything, and all the appliances and fixtures, and it was pretty reasonable, I thought, for what you get.
Oh, I just had a thought.
Yeah.
Well, I'll talk to you about it later.
Okay. Write this down.
Write this down. So what do you think? Do you think there'll be any bombs dropped at the Joe Rogan? Because I heard Joe Rogan actually doesn't like Trump.
I've kind of heard that too a little bit, because there's always been the, oh, I'm not going to have him on my podcast. I mean, but again, I haven't seen him say that or heard him say that directly. I don't watch him much. I just kind of watch clips. Because it's like Spaces,
3 hours long.
I know. I mean, holy crap.
I looked at his channel to see like what to expect or whatever, and anywhere from
brutal.
The least, the shortest one I saw was like 2 hours and 17 minutes. Most of them are at least
3 hours.
2.5 hours to 3.5 hours.
And see, Trump can talk that long. I mean, you get somebody like Kamala up there. Can you imagine that train wreck? I would love to see it, because it would just be so ridiculous.
Yeah, she would
answer a question. Mm-hmm. Trump, he'll just go off and, and 3 hours gone, done. He's had press conferences over an hour easily. Yeah. And I mean, he'll just, on the fly, he'll just take the questions and answers them. So yeah, it's his element. I think he'll do very well. It's perfect for him. And so, yeah, I can see where Cliff is saying it's a big temporal marker for a lot of things he's looking at. But as far as what gets dropped, Trump's been dropping, and again, he knows about it. Will it happen? I hope it does. But he's been talking about, pre-Federal Reserve days. Bringing that up, because most presidential candidates will never even bring that up. I mean, they won't even talk about, the Federal Reserve. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting that he's talking about it. And, how before we had the Fed, we were very prosperous. We didn't have income taxes, and we got revenue from other sources, and we had a lot smaller government too. And that would be a necessary thing if we were to do that. But I don't know. I had this. He'll be in his element. Will he drop some bombs? I hope he does. I hope he gets in. I hope Rogan asks him about some of his Uncle John Trump and Tesla, and
that was in Cliff's data. That is in Cliff's data that they.
In my thinking, those are the bombshells that if they come out, that'll be like people be what? Says, oh yeah, my uncle. He talked about this and this. And Trump talks a lot about nuclear. He says, oh, I know a lot about nuclear. He's talked to my uncle about this, and and it's interesting where he's going with that. Because he says that's the biggest threat to the world, nuclear, bombs and all this. But on the other side of it, you look at nuclear energy production. I don't know. There's something there, and I want to see what the there is.
Isn't it the fission, not fusion, or fusion, not fission?
Yeah, it's different. I learned it at one time, but I forgot it.
Me too.
I knew the difference. One was like
I've been in the war too long. I'm like, I forgot.
Fusion, I guess, comes together and fission goes out. Is that right? All you scientists out there? I don't know.
So is that the same issue? Because he's been talking about, I thought because I had a dream years ago where I was in an RV and everyone was waiting in line for gas or fuel. And my sister, who passed years ago, was with me. Or she came up to me. I can't remember if she came up to me or if we were together. I can't remember. And she was like, no, come here. You just get this. And I got out and got this little, like a DEF can, how DEF comes in that square.
Oh, yeah, diesel exhaust fluid
box. Yeah. And I pulled the DEF can out of the side of the RV and walked around where everybody was and went and filled it up with water around the side of the building. And she's like, you just need water. And I filled it up with water and I went back and I shoved it in the side of my RV. And then I went along my merry way and I was fine. And
water car.
This is probably at least 4 years ago dream. And I was like, what the heck was that? That was so weird. And then I was hearing, and maybe I had seen a video about it and just not conscious of it, maybe that's what put that in my dream or whatever. Yeah. But then in Trump's rallies and speeches, he's been anti-hydrogen. And he's saying, oh, that's the worst. It blows you up and you end up splattered on a tree and your wife can't even recognize you and whatever. And I'm like,
geez, getting graphic.
Why is he being like that? And why is he saying anti-hydrogen? I thought that was going to be, but maybe you don't need that if we have 0-point energy and you can just run your car off of the energy in the air.
The ether. The air.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't either. I would love for some of that stuff to come out. I would love to see all these connections because he's often talked about his Uncle John. Mm-hmm. He's named after him, Donald John Trump.
And saying John's in the crowd too.
Oh yeah, he did. That was
John's on the
interesting.
front row.
He said, "Yeah, that was John. John builds all these buildings and all these places, you know." And yes, I don't know. It's John JFK. Who knows? Um, it's interesting stuff. I mean, Trump's aware of all this. I don't care what anybody says. You know, with his motions and the things that he does, he's very aware of the Q drops, and he's either playing into it and pandering to that crowd, or he's fulfilling that language. I mean, you know, no matter what, he knows what it is. And he's definitely, you know, at some level, you know, making it known that he's connecting dots. And it just remains to be seen, you know, where we're at with it, what he does. I think it's there's no way in heck that he won't get elected at this point. I think it's definitely that's where it's at. That's where it's going. They may try shenanigans and all these things, but I just don't see how he doesn't get elected.
So in Cliff's data,
he'll have time to, you know, hopefully implement all this stuff. I'm very hopeful that will happen.
In Cliff's data, it said that he runs unopposed, and no one really cares because there's so much other chaos going on that that like something happens and like she gets taken out and I don't mean taken out, but like she's
just like disappeared. Well, I mean, she's like you said, she hasn't been campaigning. I mean, she's just like, what's up? Yeah. What's going on?
And then I did not stick my thumb up. So non-issue, and then he runs unopposed or whatever. So we'll see what happens. And then, or this is my interpretation of what I've heard him say.
I got you.
Everybody. So please take it with a grain of salt. But
salt, that's an interesting topic. Look into salt and what salt really means and what it does, and you know, all the properties and magical properties, I guess. Anyway, side note, go ahead.
No, that's interesting. There was also along those lines, oh gosh, something Gene Decode said the other day. Oh gosh, it was all along that line. I was gonna
distracted you.
I know.
It'll
come back to me. I was wanting to share with everybody about that. I'll come back to it.
So Westwood.
That's okay.
Which doesn't exist, by the way. I only have girls.
All the girls.
Only girls. Female energy everywhere. Dogs, everything. Yeah. I was thinking about Prince Harry. I think he was named in one of the P. Diddy indictments, the $30 million lawsuit, you know, that he's getting sued over by somebody. Prince Harry was, his name came up. Interesting. Prince Andrew. I mean, you know, he was involved with Epstein and all that. I mean, there's so many people that are intertwined in all this stuff that
Bill Gates and
bring the whole house down.
The head of Pfizer was listed in the same lawsuit as Bill Gates in the Netherlands.
Netherlands. Yeah, Netherlands.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Yep.
Also, people are being made whole. Was it in Pennsylvania or I can't remember what state? Some people that had lost their jobs. Was it postal workers? I can't remember. I posted it in Telegram. Hold on, guys. They all got $1 million each. And San Francisco public transport employees who were refusing to get the jab have been awarded $1 million each. San Francisco. Isn't that Kamala's area?
Is who what?
Isn't that Kamala's area, San Fran?
I think so.
Pelosi's too.
I think I think it's that area. I don't know. It's the left coast. Who cares? No, I'm just kidding. All the beautiful people in the west coast. No, Rand and Benny. I mean, I know two dicks. I mean, I know some good people out there.
Yes, and Joshy and Paigey.
Yes, bringing light to the.
Yes.
You know, that's the thing. It's just like all it is just like pockets of darkness. I mean, really, and it's these just little temples of darkness. Let's call it that way. You know, and synagogues of darkness that they've got out there, and it's the same in Illinois. I mean, you've got one up in the Northeast, and most of the state's pretty light.
Speaking
it's
of
nice.
darkness, I heard that they're investigating Tether. What are your thoughts
I
on
heard that, and then I think that was also a Washington Post thing. But I think Tether, one of the board members after that, said no, that's not correct.
Oh, really?
So I don't know what's going on with the Washington Post here. I think it was the Washington Post that said that.
Interesting.
I don't know.
Rumors.
Yeah, rumors of wars, all this stuff.
I also heard that like there are a lot of the like people on the fence right now, you know, which I just think the people on the fence just won't vote.
Well, be careful. You might get impaled, if you're riding the fence.
Well, that's true. That could be dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
But the left is really pushing this Hitler narrative about, and the irony of this is that they're saying that Trump is saying that he's going to use something to lock people up, that if, like I saw Bill Clinton.
Well, maybe Hillary should have been locked up. Maybe a lot of people should get locked up. I'm just saying. I mean, if they're convicted, lock them up.
If you're treasonous, I thought it was iron.
Let's have a trial. They had a trial against him. Let's have a trial for all the other people. Let's just see what happens.
Well, if there's a trial, then it's not Trump locking them up.
Right.
It's the judges.
But the thing is, you don't have any prosecutors that do it. The Department of Justice, they won't do it. However, they find people, to prosecute him on all kinds of different things and put people in jail. Kamala put people in jail for smoking marijuana. I mean, they put people in jail all the time, and they prosecute. And the thing is, well, let's start prosecuting these other people, because we know they're all criminals. Let's get them. Let's put them out there and let's see what happens. The jury convicts you. It is what it is.
Well, I just think it's ironic that, and I don't know if we've already talked about this, but Bill Clinton, I guess, has a petition in and ready that if Trump is to win, that he wants to get transferred to Gitmo because he said Colorado's too cold for him. But the way he said it, he said that that he heard that Trump is going after people.
I heard they got some water in Gitmo. I don't know.
Who do not follow the Constitution, or who are not. He basically said that he is against the Constitution. He said people that are enemies of him and the Constitution, that Trump's going after them. It's like, wait a minute, you just admitted you're against the Constitution.
He's been saying some weird stuff lately that makes me think that maybe he flipped or something, because he's leaking things out that shouldn't be said. And it's kind of interesting to me. It's almost like he's bringing down Kamala, It's
interesting.
I don't know. I mean, he sends up a weird vibe to me lately. With some of the things he's said. Maybe he's just getting senile. I don't know. Maybe he's going full Biden on us. I mean,
I just remembered the Jane Decode thing. That made me remember it, because that's a time point. Remember when we saw Bill Clinton walking with Secret Service, and it was super weird on the sidewalk going into that one place?
Oh yeah, on the side. Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. And then somebody walked by with a sweatshirt, had something on the back. I can't remember what it said.
And that was about the time when Hillary got picked up by the van.
I mean, I don't know.
Okay, so Gene Decode said that we went on a different, you know how the Simpsons always do this
timelines and such,
predictive whatever, like that weird stuff in their cartoons, and people are like, oh, how did they know to predict the future, whatever. There is an episode where Lisa becomes president, and that was supposed to be Hillary or something.
I don't know if it was her or if it was Kamala, because I think she had a purple bodysuit on or something. Could have been both of them, because they both wear that kind of stuff.
Maybe.
Bodysuits.
And he said, but that didn't happen because she was supposed to win. But that timeline got changed, and that's when Hillary was picked up.
Okay.
And that's the point where the good guys won, and the timeline was switched.
I honestly, I think there's some. I mean, I just got this gut feeling that there's some time travel stuff going on that has shaped and shifted some things that were supposed to happen or were going to happen, the path that we were on. And I think there's been some injection points almost that I just got that sense and that feeling, and maybe that's where a lot of the Mandela effect comes from too. It's, okay,
Berenstain not
our
wanting
history
to-
changed because of this. Somebody maybe went back in time and did the, who knows? I don't know, but I just get that sense that there's some wonkiness going on with time shifting. I don't know.
It's
I'm in a
very-
bar having a drink, so I,
yeah.
take it
Well,
for
that's
what
why
it's
we
worth.
can have these what if crazy.
Right.
What do you think?
Right.
Could it? What do you? It's the what if.
I trust my gut. I mean, there's plenty to trust. So it's just, if I feel like it makes sense to me, then I'm like, I'm going to run with it. I'm going to say it.
I think it's interesting to have I heard this, have a conversation. What do you think? And I think we've been trusting the experts too long.
Yeah. Let me come in with my white coat and see you for 2 minutes and charge you $200. Hey.
Yeah. I think it's time for us to have discussions, to have, Cannon's doing science fair with the homeschool. We were doing like a lot of
Search for Truth Fair, science, right? You know what it is? Searching for the truth.
well, so they're going through the scientific theory. So it's like,
Okay.
we're going through this process, and it's a
The
lot
method
of
or the theory? The scientific method?
method. Yes.
Okay. I don't know.
Sorry.
Maybe there's a scientific theory I missed out on. I went to public
No.
school. What do you
The
want?
scientific method. And so we're getting to the part of theory is like this week or
One of
something.
it,
I don't
yeah.
know. It's a lot for mom. So
You're doing a great job. You're doing a great job. Great mom.
I'm trying. He's been sick, so we're like trying to still stay up, because if you get behind, there's so many steps that like if you get behind, then you have to make it up, and then I don't want him to feel overwhelmed. So I'm like, okay, we're
Right.
just gonna do a little bit
Because that's not good.
each day, yeah. And then he's been really sick. So anyway, so but it's a lot of questioning and being okay with not having the answer.
Right. That's
the
what
whole
science
thing-
is supposed to be.
Yes, the whole thing may blow up in your face and you may be wrong. You may do all this work and it's a real struggle. Like, he is not okay with it. He's like, no, I want this to be the end, and I want us to know that my project's going to be great. And I said, bud, this may be a total failure, and that may be what we present, is that, guess what? The whole thing was completely wrong and we failed.
But that's part of the process, though. I mean, and that's actually that's what we don't have now. I mean, it's just like, okay, this is the truth, and we're going to backfill to get to the truth. And it's like, no. We start here with a theory, and then we're like, let's see if we can prove it out, and test it out and replicate it and that kind of thing. But no, it's like, no, trust the science. In other words, trust the gods,
Or a problem. We start with a problem. We don't even start with a question. We start with a problem and then start asking questions about the problem. Like we have the world, everyone so wants to be right. And
true. Well,
you know who I am.
Ego.
I like to be right. I
Ego.
admit it. It's a personal.
I identify more with the id than the ego. I don't know. That's
I'm working on it. I'm trying to improve myself and humble myself as well. But it's a learning process. Like,
just don't put Parker and Lisa in the same room. No, I'm just kidding.
No, we're good friends.
That's a joke.
And we love each other more than we want to be right.
I know.
Yeah.
It's funny.
It's okay.
It's pretty funny.
And as long as you remember that like for humanity, like I was saying earlier, like I love humanity and people more than I want to see dead babies. You know what I mean? I'm tired of us.
No, I get it. I get it.
Down.
I mean, the war is more important than the individual battles, I guess. And sometimes, it's like, maybe that battle didn't go so well. But the bigger picture is we all agree on what the end game is, what the goal is here.
Yeah, we've got to start loving each other more than stuff.
I agree with that. I mean, world needs a lot of love.
And Westwood hugs.
And Westwood hugs.
That's right.
I love it when Hobby jumped on last night. He was in Colorado hunting, and he had to get on, hash it out at the end of it, and he's just like, I just want to, I drove up to this spot because it's the only place they got reception. I just want to come hang out with y'all. And he's like, I'm kind of getting Westwoodized, and I don't know, I never used to like people, and now I'm kind of soft, and it's kind of funny, watching the progression, and it's just like, I kind of miss you guys, and it's just cool. It's nice to see that. because I got a lot of work to do with my own self, but I love it when people are, they open up more. And I mean, it's a vulnerability too, trusting people and,
Yeah.
but it's a good thing. I mean, it's such a good thing to, be around good people and, see people get activated and, kind of rejuvenated and, all that energy that we like feed off of each other. And, it's such a great thing to see, like you said, lifting up community and, what cryptocurrency is supposed to be. And, all this, that's what we need to do. We need to like lift up and raise up and instead of just, put your head down and you just march along and go down the cattle chute. It's crazy.
No. And we also have a really great vetting process in our fam group, whatever, because we we do have great boundaries in our group. We treat each other with respect.
Right.
And, using blockchain, there's a lot of transparency there. And we watch, who's lifting others up, who's pouring into other people, who's,
Right.
supporting
Right.
the efforts of others that are putting work in to the group.
No vampire zone.
Yeah. No vampires.
No.
So those are the kind of things. It's kind of, it's really great when you build a community of people that are looking out for each other. So
yeah, it's cool. And on Spaces tonight, we'll talk about it a little bit more, but I was pretty happy last night on Spaces when we started discussing, a certain topic, and it was nice to see everybody, kind of come together and say, hey, this is a good idea. We should do this. We should, and you kind of brought it up, and it's really encouraging. I mean, it gives me validation as far as, okay, my Aunt Nut, and bringing all these people together, bringing them here and all this thing. And, it's, I mean, I wouldn't change a thing. I'm happy.
Yeah, I think most of us are pretty happy of work. And speaking of Javi, I mean, I think it would be really cool. Like, and it's everybody should tell their own story. So I don't want to tell his story, but it would be cool when people are ready or have, maybe we use some part of Litecoin's ordinals or NFT or something where people could share kind of, when I used to do those crypto journey interviews or something where people could like have kind of like their journey of how they got there, how we came together or whatever. That would be kind of a fun.
I love that when you did all that, and it's you've kind of gotten to know everybody in person, so it's but that was a cool way to really get to meet the community. I like it when Benny, he's one of the last ones that you did, I think.
Yeah.
It's really cool to put a face to everybody. Not everybody wants to show their face and that kind of thing, but I mean, I didn't at first, and people encouraged me, and then next thing you know, I make all these videos, and now I'm kind of reverting. But it's but I do Thursday and Fridays here. But no, it's really cool because we all have a story, and everybody has. It's just every time I meet somebody, Thrand, I met him in Nashville, and met him again here at the last meetup, and Benny for the first time face to face. Felt like I knew him already, like most people. Javier, I never met him face to face, and then he shows up, and it's like you just know certain people, and you kind of have that instinct, and when you meet them and you hear their story, and it's just amazing, the story that they have, the book that they're writing, and to share that and experience that is really cool.
Well, and then some people that we met, I didn't know till years later, the impact that the community had on them or their life.
Right. I'm thinking of one in particular. I think you're thinking about.
Yeah. I mean, it's
in Arizona.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. And that was really beautiful. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, I wish more people knew that kind of beautiful story. Like there's some really amazing stories and cool stuff.
And I guess the thing is, it always makes me think of, I think it was Charles Barkley that says, I'm not a role model. And it's like, yeah, you are. I mean, like it or not, you are. You're putting your face out there, and your people look at you, and it's just, like us in a smaller way. It's just like when you put your face out there and you say something, people are listening, and they resonate with you, and they're building a connection with you, and you don't even know it. And there's many instances in my own life to where I've said something to somebody, and then later on they come back and said that was like the most impactful thing that ever happened to me, and I think I kind of forgot about that.
I remember that. Yeah.
And so it's important every day that do the best you can. And I fall short. So many people. I mean, we all do, but just do the best you can and put out good vibes. Be nice. Try to be a good person. Right, because you don't know what that one little thing does for that person's life. You have no idea how much that impacts them. And you may never know, and that's okay. But know that you just keep putting out good into the universe and do the best that you possibly can, because somebody's watching. And if you're a bad person, they're seeing that too. And it's just but the good is just that one good thing outweighs 100 imperfections, and it may have changed somebody's life and you don't even know it. So
yeah,
that's a powerful thing.
There are just some, I don't know, it's cool, like, because we have some history now with a lot of our friends that we've met over the years, and so now we're starting to like get to know and see some of that longevity, and it's just really sweet to see all that kind of play out. And I keep saying this over and over again, but I know a lot of people are, and we were just talking about this before we went live, but like you can almost feel it, where a lot of people are struggling. The economy's shit. Thanks a lot, Biden, and Kamala.
Kamala.
Yes.
Kamala.
And but there's like a heaviness on a lot of people.
Yeah.
A lot of people are struggling. A lot of people are, but we're also kind of leaning on each other. But you can see who's here for each other.
Right.
And it does go in cycles, and we will come out of this, and things will change. And when things are popping and high, you're going to see people get real quiet as well. And just remember who was there when. And I mean, loyalty is a huge thing to me. And I don't forget who was there when. So anyway.
I'll say it about myself, not you, because it doesn't apply to you. It's like the elephant never forgets. I feel like I'm an elephant. That's one of my favorite animals. I got elephants all over the place. And it's not that my daughter goes to Alabama, at all. It's kind of just a thing. She happened to go there. I mean, she was thinking about going to Ole Miss, but she went to Alabama, and it was elephants. I don't know. It's always been one of my like archetypal animals that I've always kind of resonated with, the elephant. And it's
that was my favorite stuffed animal as a child.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
Well, elephants.
Always
the elephant theme going on here.
What are we forgetting news-wise? I know we're forgetting stuff news.
I don't know. I gotta keep forgetting and remembering. Elephants never forget.
I have to keep.
That's wouldn't Lisa forget. All right, I wrote down some notes just throughout the week here. Elon talking to Putin. Oh, how is Lahaina? I just wrote that down. I'm like, what's going on in Lahaina? I haven't heard of that.
About it, really?
No, it's just down the memory hole. I mean, but those people are still.
Lahaina is fina.
Lahaina is fina. Ladies from Lahaina are fina.
Apparently, this is major voter registration fraud operation uncovered in Pennsylvania.
Oh yeah, Pennsylvania. I saw that. Good. Bring it out.
So they did arrest a guy, a postal worker. That was I put that on Telegram. I don't have a Twitter thing for that, so I can't share that with you guys, but I can read it. Federal authorities have arrested U.S. mail carrier Otis McCoy, accused of dumping over 1,000 pieces of mail, including 400 political mailings, an election ballot in a wooded area instead of delivering on his Orlando, Florida route. According to court documents, coworker reported McCoy's manager he returned unusually early, despite leaving with a large amount of mail. GPS data showed McCoy had diverted to a wooded area where a coworker later found scattered mail.
GPS data. I mean, that's the thing. You think you're going to get away with this stuff? We're tracking you everywhere you go.
Yeah.
It's like, dude. Whatever. That's good. Bring that stuff out. Again, prosecute. I mean, bring it to light.
Jim had shared some more proof of 2020 election steal. I know that Dominion was threatening individuals that if you talk about them or talk about their devices being, used in a steal, that they were going to go after individuals.
We're above the law. We can't be we've done nothing wrong.
Oh, bricks. So here was a whole thread about BRICS, I guess, finished. And I can go through the BRICS. It just finished. Here's everything you need to know. Indian Prime Minister held a meeting with new Iranian. They said that India is supplying drones, weapons, and explosives to Israel.
Well,
that seems helpful.
Isn't that special?
Kill more babies.
Yeah.
Indian Prime Minister held a meeting with Russia President Putin. He vowed to help Russia end their war with Ukraine.
Get this thing over with. Trump. End it. In my before I'm sworn in, it's going to be over. I hope it is. I mean, this is ridiculous. That it's like all this useless, senseless killing, and we know at some level it's happening because somebody's benefiting, through dark pools of money and who knows what else, and transfers of different forms of energy, whether it be human or financial. And it's just it's silliness. I mean, let's put an end to this.
This is interesting. The entirety of BRICS collectively condemned Israel and called for a ceasefire.
Well,
so that's good news.
Yeah. But they're our greatest ally. We need them. It's like, why do we need them?
No.
Why do we need to be in the Middle East?
Why?
We are energy independent. I mean, drill, baby, drill. I mean, that's what I want to see. I want to see us become independent. And like our founding fathers said, I think it was Jefferson, one of them. Don't be getting involved in foreign entanglements. I mean, stay out of this stuff. I mean, it does good. Trade with everybody, but don't, fight wars with, against everybody. And it's just, but what have we become? The opposite of that. It's just this giant, empire, and it's just, been hijacked by a bunch of vampires that want to profit. Oh, and then the children of the vampires are running around with Kamala, the Cheney chick. I mean, it's just...
Oh, that was insane.
How disgusting. I mean, you look at that and they're just like...
Took her to like a Muslim thing, which was a total... That's where I know like the good guys are in control and they are just humiliation ritual.
It kind of is.
You know what I mean? This is significant. For the first time in 5 years, India and China held a bilateral meeting. A historic agreement announced between the two countries to end their disputed border crisis. So is this more Trump world peace stuff? I don't know.
I hope so. I hope it's just like, hey, we're here to do business. We're not here to kill each other. There's no sense in this. But I think a lot of it, you go back to John Perkins' Economic Hitman book, Confessions of an Economic Hitman, and you look at what, forces within leveraging the power of this government and, the unlimited money that's available and what they've done to foment war and create conflict and put leaders in charge that are corrupt for resources. I mean, this stuff, I'm so sick of it. I'm done with it. We're just done with it. Mm-hmm. We live in a world of abundance and they want to create artificial scarcity. And it's done. Let's just end this stuff. It's ridiculous. I don't think, who wants to go to war? I mean, no country, the people of the country want to go fight. It's these leaders that have connections that, they're creating this other, vampire casino. I mean, stop.
That was the other thing. I don't know if I sent it to you. Let me see. I think I sent it to you. Okay, hold on. Let me do this one. This is share this tab instead. RFK shares about the Ukraine in less than 3 minutes.
It's a war the Russians tried repeatedly to settle on terms that were very, very
beneficial
to Ukraine and us. The major thing they wanted was for us to keep NATO out of the Ukraine. The big military contractors want to add new countries to NATO all the time. Why? Because then that country has to conform its military purchases to NATO weapon specifications, which means certain companies, Northrop Grumman, Raytheon, General Dynamics, Boeing, and Lockheed, get a trapped market. Through March of 2022, we committed $113 billion. Just to give you an example, we could have built a home for almost every homeless person in this country. We then committed another 24 billion since then, 2 months ago, and now President Biden's asking for another 60 billion. But the big expenses are going to come after the war, when we have to rebuild all the things that we destroyed. Mitch McConnell was asked, can we really afford to spend 113 billion to Ukraine? He said, don't worry, it's not really going to Ukraine.
It's going to American defense manufacturers.
So he just admitted it's a money laundering scheme. And who do you think owns every one of those companies? BlackRock. So Tim Scott, during the Republican debate, said, don't worry, it's not a gift to Ukraine, it's a loan. So raise your hand if you think that loan's ever getting paid back. Yeah, of course it's not. So why do they call it a loan? Because if they call it a loan, they can impose loan conditions. And what are the loan conditions that we impose on? Number one, an extreme austerity program, so that if you're poor in Ukraine, you're going to be poor forever. Number two, most important, Ukraine has to put all of its government-owned assets up for sale to multinational corporations, including all of its agricultural land, the biggest single asset in Europe. In Ukraine, there's been 1,000 years of war fought over that land. It's the richest farmland in the world. It's the breadbasket of Europe. 500,000 kids almost, Ukrainians, have died to keep that land as part of Ukraine. They almost certainly didn't know about this loan condition. They've already sold 30% of it. The buyers were DuPont, Cargill, and Monsanto. Who do you think owns all of those companies? Yeah, BlackRock. And then in December, President Biden gave out the contract to rebuild Ukraine. And who do you think got that contract? BlackRock. So they're doing this right in front of us. They don't even care that we know anymore, because they know that they can get away with it. And how do they know that? Because they have a strategy. And that strategy is an old strategy, which is they keep us at war with each other. They keep us hating on each other. They keep the Republicans and Democrats fighting each other, black against white, and all these divisions that they sow.
Biggest truth.
That's the kind of stuff that gets your uncle shot. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that that's summing it up. He's calling out names, and the fact that it's happening tells me like I said, maybe there's some kind of timeline shift. Something's happened to where, you don't get to go out and say those kind of things that
Right.
at his level. You just don't. He's exposing it, and man, it's a very interesting time to be alive. It really is, to see this stuff, because you rewind. The Dixie Chicks got freaking shunned and just chastised for saying that George Bush was a war criminal, essentially. I'm paraphrasing, but it was true. And at the time, people were like, "Oh, you're anti-American."
And they were probably my favorite band back then. Like, I loved them. All the harmonizing.
But the hate they got for using free speech, just having an opinion.
But a Texas girl, like,
Yeah.
the Bushes were our Kennedys.
I
They
know.
were our royalty.
I know, and
How
I don't
dare
mess
you
with
talk
Texas,
about them
George Bush. I'm cutting wood. Before 9/11, I'm out. Anyway,
I didn't know they were CIA, Mossad associated hitmen. Like, I had no idea.
Yeah, the rabbit
I
holes.
didn't know he was Lolo Sartoro's bestie.
What was the oh man, I can't remember the oil refining company or the oil company. No, it goes way back. It was like pre-Kennedy assassination, to where it was I can't remember it, that Senior was part of, and he was in Dallas the day of the assassination. George Senior. Really? Was he like overseeing the operation or something? Former.
He probably had to go do some satanic ritual and have
to make sure that we capitalize on the blood energy sacrifice. No, seriously, this is what you're dealing with. You're dealing with darkness. You're dealing with vampires. You're dealing with pure evil. They don't. If you don't believe it, it doesn't matter. They believe it, and they implement the stuff. And they're carrying it out. But they come out with a smiley face, and it's just like, oh, enough of the scam.
But
I mean, I've had anyway. I don't want to go into that, but
no, I'm with you though. Like, but to hear RFK and to
it's
see
a big
like,
deal.
oh,
Saying
that's
what he's saying.
that's the other thing. And I think I talked about it last night on I talked about it on Twitter Spaces, but I haven't talked about it on my show. So Cannon plays Fortnite, and I always think there's comms on his little
Mhm.
video things. And so he's like, "Hey mom, the Herald is back and the Chrome is back, which is bringing the silver back."
Mm.
So the Chrome looks like silver.
Bring the gorilla
And
back,
the
silverback.
Herald, oh,
No, I don't know.
maybe Tulsi's going to be president.
Okay.
And maybe Tulsi is Lisa in The Simpsons now that she's wearing a purple. She was wearing a purple suit the other night.
Was she?
Yes, when she was with Trump, not in Vegas, but the night before. She was wearing a purple suit. Now that you say that about
Aren't these people, they're like archetypes throughout history? I mean, they are. You know, you've got RFK. I mean, it's almost like, you know, I equate it with, I talked about it a little bit. I've said it a few times, like the Hall of Justice uses watch the Super Friends, you know. I mean, they've all got these like super talents, and I mean, they're all so different and unique. And it's like, I'm not vouching for them or saying that these are like superheroes or anything, but like throughout history, I mean, these are archetypal type of characters. You know, you got Trump, and you've got RFK, and you've got Elon Musk and Tulsi Gabbard. I mean, you know, they're all like these like super powerfully individual, you know, very well known. When you look at them, it's almost like you know, you've seen that type before throughout history and literature, and you know, in mythology. It's just really strange to me, and that's why this whole timeline thing's messing with me a little bit, because it's just all these people, you know, like up there, and it could be a grand deception. I don't know, but I mean, you know, the energy force, but you know, they're so unique. It's like some kind of assembly of, you know, some team, you know, out of, I don't know, mythology that's coming together. It's just really strange. Living in the Matrix, I guess.
So I guess so. He said the Herald came back, and they're bringing back the Chrome, and she's wearing a purple suit, of course, and she and they're going back to the third chapter or chapter 3. I can't remember how he talked about it, but it was 3.5 or something like this. Well, to me, that's like JFK 35, the president, the 35th president, like going back to silver backed currency or
Or non-debt based money. Try to create it out of the treasury.
I don't know.
Yeah. That was another thought that I had. I mean, think about this. Okay, so we hear now that every 100 days we're creating $1 trillion more of debt in the U.S. We're like $36 trillion in debt right now. How do you ever get out of that hole? What do you do? And my thinking is this. You know, I pondered this a lot. You know, I think about this. What would you do? How do you get out of this stuff? And I mean, you can try and remonetize it and suck it into Bitcoin and let that, you know, or silver or gold go back. To me, those what I would do is just say, listen, here's what we're going to do. You know, the Chinese have like an internal and an external currency, like the renminbi and the other one, the yuan, or what? No, that's, yeah, I think it's yuan. Yeah, the yen is Japan. So, I mean, what do? You go in and you say, listen, we're going to print up $36 trillion of U.S. notes, or U.S. dollars, let's call them, out of the treasury. And we're going to pay back the debt with those. And you're going to accept it. And if you want to play ball in our economy, you will accept it, and you can use those to, you know, purchase things internally, and then you may have to put timelines on it so it doesn't all come flooding back. But, I mean, that's how you pay it off, because it makes no sense for us to create money with a third party, the Federal Reserve, and then you get charged interest on it. Just create the money out of the treasury. There's no debt attached to it. Yes, it's inflationary, you know, if you keep printing more money and creating more money, but you don't have to pay it back. It's in circulation. It is its own thing. And so it's just this, we got to break free from this enslavement vampire thing that they've got going on since 1913. A creature from Jekyll Island, G. Edward Griffin, you know, look at that and what that's all about. We don't need that. I mean, we there's no need to, Standard Oil.
That was
it might have been, but there was another one, like a spin-off of that. It was a little bit smaller. I can't think of the name of it. Now I know what you're saying though, but yeah, it was something different.
Okay.
Zapata, maybe that was it. Was it Zapata oil?
That would be creepy.
I think it was Zapata.
Of course it is. Shoes.
I
It's
don't know.
probably
Zappa.
Rojo Zapata.
Mm.
Right? My
Oh,
hair.
I think it was Zapata. I don't know. Just
Um,
popped in there. It just popped in there. I couldn't help myself. It's the Stay Puft
oh,
Marshmallow
well,
Man.
Ted Cruz got popped. He just popped.
I missed it. What
Did you
happened?
hear? Yeah, when Trump was in Austin tonight, he like they only showed like the back of Ted Cruz's head, and he was like nodding, not talking. They wouldn't really show his face, and he's like, "Well, you just got popped. You popped up there."
It just popped
So
in there. It just popped in there.
I don't
Popped
know.
up.
He might have been a bad boy. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's a tough one
You
to
never know with the way the language goes. Like,
You really don't.
were they good people? And they're building all the scaffolding again for whatever's going to
I
happen.
saw that. What's going on in DC?
I don't know. Maybe they're getting ready for,
Gallows humor.
it wouldn't be inauguration this early.
No, I mean that's a few months away.
Yeah, why
Maybe it
would they
is,
be
but
building all that in
It's
the
in front of the White House, isn't it? They usually have it in front of Congress. Yeah, when you get inaugurated,
Yeah, what? Wait a
not the
minute.
White House.
Now that you say that, hold on. Pennsylvania passes Bitcoin holders' rights to protect Bitcoin holders.
I saw that. Yeah, to where it's you can. I don't know what the details are, but they're embracing it as a state. Oh, but the Fed and the European Central Bank, Bitcoin bad. Well, yes, of course it is for them because it undermines what they're trying to do. I don't know, more FUD. I mean, there's always they roll and they're buying it up while they FUD it. Fear, uncertainty, doubt. Give you doubt. It's ridiculous.
Be Sci-Fi World Temporal Marker Day. Cliff says, okay, where?
While you're looking for that, people that might be tuning in later on a different timeline, what's this temporal marker thing? Well, Cliff High, go look up CLIF
Here it
High, HIGH, and look at his data, what he's looked at, and scrape from the internet through our language because we're all psychic. And today is a big day. Something's going to happen. Probably the Joe Rogan, Donald John Trump interview that changes people going forward because of the information that might be dropped. And we move into this high-tech sci-fi world from this point in earnest.
Because supposedly they're going to start talking about like 0 point energy and all the tech
All the
that
things.
is Uncle Johnny that was the longest professor at MIT.
And that's another thing. Look into MIT and the connections. That's where the Bitcoin, that's where the cryptocurrency came out of. They got an open source license for all that. And it's like, it all kind of ties into that. There's a brain trust there. Imagine all this stuff that gets spilled. Maybe John Trump's behind it. Maybe it was a time travel thing. Who knows? It comes back, Ingersoll Lockwood stuff, last president, Barron Trump goes to the center of the earth kind of thing. Marvelous.
My husband did it. Container secured. We have a place to move all of our stuff.
What happened? You got something?
He got a place to move all of our stuff. Container secured.
I'll tell you what, you put that man on a task, he'll make the connections and the phone calls and he'll make it happen.
Oh my gosh. I'm
a grinder. Networker.
Okay. It's happening. I'm going to need 2
I love it.
tonight.
That's awesome. Double. Give me a double.
Lord.
Internet. I won't make the midnight tonight.
Internet blackout hits Mozambique.
Who would know?
Well,
I'm just kidding.
I know.
Just being.
Well, I don't know, but I was told.
Being a little shat.
I don't know. I was told. I don't know, but I've been told.
Eskimo. Anyway.
Big leg woman ain't got no soul in that song. Something like that. Iran under attack? Well, probably.
Yeah. Is today ending a Y? Then they're probably under attack.
Most likely.
War. Perpetual war. 1984. We're at perpetual war. What do you mean we're fighting East Asia? No, we've always been at war with East Asia. Eurasia. Just give me a break. I don't know. Are you going to get a robot? I'm like, listen to these
No.
other people I'm going to listen to these other people on YouTube. Hey, hit 1 if you're going to get a Tesla robot. I want you to hit 1 right now in the chat if you want to get a Tesla robot. Hit 2 if no freaking way you're getting a robot in your house. Get the algorithm going.
Telegraph lines are out in Cuba. Trump walked through a Cuban restaurant last night, and I wondered what kind of calm. Charlie and I were talking where I'm like, oh, that's got to be some kind of calm. Why is he walking
Cuba's out.
in and standing and then walks out of this Cuban restaurant? I'm like, that's a calm. Charlie says blast being heard and seen in multiple places. So this outage could be globally. We'll see.
Rolling blackouts.
Rolling blackouts. Also, they may be trying to block this.
We're in a no robot zone, it looks like. Everybody's hitting 2. I got a robot vacuum cleaner, a Roomba. And it's probably connected to the internet, feeding all kinds of information. But the thing is, your phone does that too. All your internet, all the devices do that now. It's just the robot, though, can kill you in your sleep. The Roomba can't do that. Your phone can't. Well, I guess it could if the Israelis, want to blow it up. Just don't keep it too close to your bed, I guess. But, I mean, you think the robot thing, it's like, if that thing malfunctions, I mean, we can't even get voting machines to work. And you're going to have a freaking robot in your house that just terminate, and just keeps squeezing and doesn't let up. I mean, it malfunctions and glitches.
Wasn't there a Jetsons episode where Rosie lost her, what? And
probably
went after everybody?
Yeah, a little foreshadowing from the future. Jetsons, I don't know, timeline.
Well, and Uncle Cliff was talking about on that his latest episode that he sat in a Tesla one time and it gave him such a headache because of the
the frequencies
coming out of it, and he had his devices to measure and whatever.
Yeah, the EMF meters and stuff.
I'm not riding in that thing. He's like, it puts off so much microwave, whatever. You're cooking your body riding in a Tesla.
It's one thing to sun it, but it's another thing to cook it.
Yeah, no.
Just saying.
It's shake and bake, not microwave.
Fake and bake.
Yeah, I don't know. Don't microwave your stuff. Don't microwave your junk.
Do it. Dang. Yeah, I mean, it's just that whole thing. I mean, think of the great, there's good and bad to everything, but it's it's a computer program that, I worry about a car being connected because there's been instances where the car looks like it's been controlled and just hits the accelerator and, Trump, one of his, when he's riding down the road, this car, just comes flying out and, tries to interrupt the motorcade. And it's just, think of the technology in the wrong hands, being able to remotely control all these devices, especially a robot or a robot dog. You've seen those things. Those are freaky.
Scary.
I mean, dude, that thing armed. Oh, you're an enemy of the state? Done. Robot goes into your room. Oh, would you like your breakfast? Oh, yeah, here you go. We got to break a few eggs to make the omelet, sir. And then you're dead. No, thank you.
Yeah.
Not for me.
So Charlie's reports, I guess, are being confirmed by IAM. Explosions rock
really
airport. Not good
October
news.
surprise, right? Hey, they're going to pull out all the stops. I mean, you're less than, 10
is
days?
that the Israeli mistake?
It could be if they're bombing it, because that's been in his data for a long time. That Israeli mistake, and that was a big one. And then, you take it back to the Q drops. I mean, saving Israel for last. And it's almost like, you get mad at these candidates, and, you get mad at Trump. It's like, what? Why are you full-heartedly supporting, But the thing is, if it is a big stage, if it is a big play that's playing out, I mean, you got to play the game and be you got to be that person that kind of keeps everybody in line until the end. It's like, oh yeah, I'm your best buddy, and then it's like a mafia movie. It's like, again, like the song he played at the end of his convention. It's where play the game until the end, and then right at the end, all the bad guys get taken out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and so you just play it out, and it's, it might look bad on the surface that why is he cooperating with these people? Well, why is he supporting this? Why is he supporting terrorism in the Middle East? But then it's because it's let them
Keep your enemies.
hang themselves. Yeah,
Friends
exactly.
close
Keep them
and your
close, and the
enemies
next thing you
close.
know, it's like, hey, you're a made man. You go to the basement and pop. It's like, okay, it's over.
Which I think that's why he, in his first
A little bit of a setup, maybe, for the whole thing.
first term, he didn't bring in new people. He's like, no. You've been doing this job? You stay right here. And then he
Keep doing what you're doing, baby.
keep doing what you're doing. And then he allowed them to be exposed. I think that's why,
If that's the case, it's brilliant. It's a brilliant long game by the White Hats. I mean, if that is the case. And I am hopeful that is the case, because what a brilliant chess game that you're playing.
That's who he
And I mean, there's a lot of people. I mean, again,
and it's
you
not
say,
just him. We know it's a team with him.
right. And that's what I mean when you see a lot of these people. I mean, I don't know. And the whole theory is, after the whole JFK thing, it was, here's my problem. A lot of people got issues with, RFK's stance on certain issues, and what he believes and this and that. But I mean, you had JFK, who was flawed. I mean, like any other human being, but I think he was trying to do the right thing for America. He didn't want to, go into Cuba. He didn't want, nukes, and he wanted to get along with Khrushchev, and he didn't want war, and was really looking out for America. I really think that. I could be wrong, but the fact that they took him out makes me think, yeah, I'm probably right.
And he called out the Zionists.
Yes, I mean, all those, yeah, exactly, all those things.
And he was
right,
gone. And
so
whether he was actually gone or he was gone so that he could be protected, and this.
It may be, but I got to look at RFK, who had his uncle shot and killed. He had his dad shot and killed, and I mean, if I grew up in that situation, I'd be like, all right, I'm in this for the long haul, and I don't care what I got to do. I'm going to take you bastards down, and I'll play the game until the end, and then you all get knifed. I mean, seriously, and you all hang. And I mean, that may be what's playing out right now with some of these people.
Yeah.
I hope it is.
Yeah. Retribution.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. We'll see.
So it is the greatest.
The greatest show on earth, right? Holy cow.
Yeah.
I'm really hopeful that that's the case. And I don't know. I guess our intentions can maybe make it that way. Maybe we shift the timeline because that's what we want to see happen. And maybe it's just some big cosmic game that we're all playing, and it's up to us to decide the end, the choose your own adventure thing, right?
Yes.
Maybe it is. Maybe with our collective energy, we make it happen the way we want to see it. So.
Well, we've been on for an hour and 17 minutes. So I think we
there
should
you go.
Last off, and we'll see you guys on Spaces tonight. Go follow Clint Westwood. Check out clintwestwood.net for I know what you're thinking. I'm trying to get back to the thing to make it pop
check it out for all the things.
Yes, there it is, clintwestwood.net. You can find all the links to help you out. You can go to likecoinlisa.net to find my links, and you can find tons of links in the description of this video. If you're watching on Rumble, I'm just figuring out how to go live over there. So thanks for joining us. I hope that you come back again and join us again. Litecoin is the right.
Look at the Litecoin. It's got Mimblewimble on. You watched the show last night with you and Johnny. It's got Mimblewimble privacy on Cake Wallet. Kind of a big deal. Got privacy money.
And if you're looking for a great place to buy silver and get it in your possession, please email our friends at Miles Franklin, info@milesfranklin.com, and ask Andy and his beautiful wife, Shauna, for the latest sales and deals, and tell them Litecoin Lisa sent you. There's that thumb again that I did not just do, but thanks, guys. All right, take care. Love you guys.